Caleb Downs does end up committing to Ohio State. Now, if you watched the show earlier this week, me and Mason were and we weren't the only ones. Apparently, all the coaches and everything at University of Georgia were under the thought that Caleb Downs was coming to Georgia. It was going to be a situation where he'd be moving in immediately. They already had the Georgia Board of Education, or whatever you want to call it, pulling their strings to get him in the classes, because technically he was late getting into classes and things because of that late transfer portal coming out of Alabama. But Ohio State comes in with the bag, buddy. They gave him some money. They offered him, from what I understand, over twice as much as what Georgia was offering. Georgia could not counter offer, and lo and behold, the best transfer portal player of this class, and maybe ever, is now headed to Ohio State to play safety. This was a shocker, obviously, because we were already saying he was going to Georgia. I mean, literally, he was out looking for apartments whenever this all happened. The Downs family had already met with Georgia, agreed to everything. So it was a big shocker to us and all the coaching staff and everything. What are your thoughts? And then we'll kind of transition into what this means for Ohio State.
It's not too often that we get these specific details on how a transfer portal player came to be at a certain university. But in this case, we know pretty much exactly what happened. Caleb Downs was planning on coming to Georgia. Whenever his dad came out and said, yeah, we'll make a decision within 48 hours, Georgia was on their mind. They had already figured out, hey, we're going to Georgia. We're going to go follow Travarius Robinson, the safeties coach at Georgia now that moved over from Alabama. We're going to follow him to Georgia. We're going to go to Georgia. We're going to win a ring. And it's going to be, a great experience for him and for Caleb, and everything seems fine and dandy.
The best secondary ever, right?
Exactly. And what happened was Ohio State called at the 11th hour and said, look, we're going to give you $1.2 million. And who in their right mind? I don't blame the kid at all for turning down $500,000 to make $1.2 million, right? Raise your hand if you do. Let me know if you think he made the wrong decision. But this wasn't a football decision. This was a financial decision. Georgia wasn't able to counter. They weren't able to say, hey, we'll bump it up from, I think it was 500, maybe just a little under 500,000 to even, he probably would have taken, 900,000 if they could get to that range. But Georgia said, no, we've sort of maxed out our offer. We're not going to be able to match that. And again, I don't blame the kid. That's a lot of money to leave on the table for 2 years in college. And at the end of the day, he's going to go make Ohio State a better program. We can get into that, but this was Caleb Downs' decision. We pretty much know exactly what happened. And we were right, I think, on Wednesday in saying he's going to Georgia. Right?
He thought he was going to Georgia on Wednesday.
Exactly. So I think we were on it, and things just turned. And that's the volatility of the transfer portal these days and of an 18-year-old's mind.
Well, if we're wrong, we'll be the first ones to tell you we were wrong, and we were wrong on this one. Look, I don't blame him for taking that money. I'm a Georgia fan, okay? I've got a Georgia sweatshirt on here, but I'm a fan of college football more so. And if I'm a player and Georgia's offering me $550,000 and Florida's offering me $1.2 million, I'm not a rich man, Mason. I'm going to have to go down to Florida and get that extra money, dude.
It's a business decision. It's not even, even if Caleb Downs comes from money, his dad played at the NFL, he was a running back for 3 different NFL teams. His brother is in the NFL. So they have money, but when you're a business person and you have a chance to sell a product for one price, and then you have a chance to sell it somewhere else for twice as much, you're going to choose the other option, even if you have a relationship with your current vendor who's selling it for the lesser amount. It's a good business decision. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you're not missing out on anything either, because you're going to Ohio State. You're going to have all the eyes are still going to be on you. It really is a good business decision.
Let me ask you, do you think if Georgia did not get KJ Bolden in this recruiting class, if they absolutely would have, they go a little bit harder for Caleb Downs, you think?
Absolutely, because that was literally the difference in the money was KJ Bolden's money.
Had KJ chosen Auburn, Georgia's probably sitting with Caleb Downs. So, you just never know when in recruiting wins and losses, how things are going to trickle down and how things are going to take effect. And at the end of the day, Georgia misses out on Caleb Downs, and Ohio State's better for it.